I think it's really fair to say that characters like Hitler have a sort of excitement or appeal about them to play because they're not the norm. But they do also come with a lot of fears that we have to go to our darkest places as actors. And I am here to dispel those myths and share with you that it is actually easier to play any type of character, whether it be a mass murderer, a psychopath, a narcissist, or anyone who we would deem as being seriously unhinged, and stay mentally and emotionally safe. You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? If you want to take on more challenging roles, or you want to start building a reputation for yourself as being versatile and being able to play the more steady roles alongside the more nuanced and challenging, and you have decided that this is going to become part of your brand as an actor, then this is the right place for you. This is the episode for you. And if you've just got a little bit of curiosity, listen in anyway, because this will serve you at some point when you start to get really clear on what it is with where you want to go with your acting career. One thing that I need you to know is that whatever character you play, it doesn't just have to be the Hitler types or the Mussolini types. Whatever type of character you play, even if you're playing a lollipop lady or a dinner lady or a cleaner or whoever it is, they are all humans with human qualities. That's what we have to remember. And it's keeping this in mind, which is the starting point. I'm playing a human with human qualities. That's the starting point. Now, this can feel a little bit icky for some people when we are playing those more challenging characters like the narcissists, like the serial killers, because we think, I've got to see them as a human. And this is where our judgments can start to cloud our creative process. So it does require a certain level of empathy and also understanding to be able to get to that neutral creative place. So just remember, your job at all times in your early career and all the way until you've built a good solid profile for yourself is to show the casting director your talent. You have to remember they need you. They need your talent. So approach these roles professionally and develop that talent to allow them to give you those opportunities that you crave, that you want. Be that professional actor. The best place for you to do this is inside the Method Actor Circle. It is such a safe space for you to make all of your mistakes, to basically vomit all of your acting mistakes out and not be judged for them and not be criticised and not be made to feel silly, but to be made to feel empowered, knowing that mistakes are a vital part of the process of developing as an actor. And it allows you to do this in private before heading out into the industry. The Method Actor Circle is the place to explore who you are as an actor, the type of actor you want to be, and how you get to that point of telling the absolute truth, and how you get to that place of being competent with all characters so that you are always feeling confident and you're always putting your best foot forwards with your acting work. And we do this through a combination of audition classes, we do it through character development classes and sharing all the different method acting tools and techniques that you need for each. And in March, we've got something so exciting. We've got a casting director popping along to see your work so you can show them your talent. So they can see you. They can go, oh, you exist as an actor. I never knew of you before, and now I know who you are. Now, we're keeping the casting director top secret, but the cut-off date for you being able to attend this is February the 29th. So you need to get your spot inside the Method Actor Circle before February the 29th, because after that, we'll be closing the doors. So you can get that by go into this link, which is bit.ly/the method actor circle, all in lowercase. Or if you don't want to spell it out and type it in Google and think, am I getting it right? Just click the link underneath the episode. So the first point, and then when you are playing the Hitler type characters, let's just call them that for the purpose of the episode, is you've got to completely forget the atrocities that they've caused. And you've got to look at this person as a human, a son, a daughter, a mother, a father, a husband, a lover. Who are they? Who are they? If you were to strip this character of their behaviours that do not give them a good name, their very undesirable behaviours, who are they? What's their essence underneath all of this? What are their dreams? What are their desires? What are their wants? What are their needs away from their behaviours that we condemn? What are they? Because it is so easy to get caught up in a black and white way of thinking about characters like, oh, I'm playing a murderer, so that's all they are, so we need to act like a murderer. Well, how does a murderer act? Throughout history, there have been tons and tons and tons of murderers, and they're not all clones of each other. They're all different. If you think about people like Ian Brady in the UK and Myra Hindley, and then you go to, I don't know, whoever is a renowned murderer in Europe or Australia or the US, and you'll know who they are, like the Jeffrey Dahmers, they're all different. They're all different in their approaches to these undesirable behaviours because their essence is different. And that is why you've got to ask yourself, you've got to step away from what they've done or what they're doing and go, who is this person? What is their essence? And you've got to think the complete opposite. This is what method actors do. Method actors don't go for the obvious. The obvious is mundane. The obvious is ordinary. A method actor chooses the extraordinary, what's unique about the character. And we method actors create unique characters. It's why you get actors like Daniel Day-Lewis who have won an insane amount of awards, because you only have to look at his back catalogue of work to go, wow, he's really found the essence of every single character. Bill the Butcher, for example, very, very different to him playing John Proctor in The Crucible. Very different, because they're not the same person. Their essence is different. So my tip is, don't get caught up in the black and white way of thinking about these characters. Don't go for the obvious. Start with the human first and then build out after that. Because once you start building out from the human, then you can get to the undesirable traits. And what you will start to create is a more layered character, someone with depth. And it's in those more desirable qualities, because they will. This might come as a shock to some of you, but they will have desirable qualities. And it is in these that you can start to see parts of yourself in them, which for some of you is going to be a hard pill to swallow, because you don't want to be associated with the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. You don't want to be associated with these kind of people. But if you're playing them and you've chosen to take on this role, you've got to remember that you're already associated with them already via your work as an actor. So there is already some sort of association. You know, the actor who plays Jeffrey Dahmer is going to get remembered for that, because he did it so incredibly well. Daniel Day-Lewis is always going to be remembered as Bill the Butcher. Not just that character. Obviously, he did, copious amounts of other incredible characters, but they are now associated with these people. So, as I've said, start with the opposite of what you would ordinarily go for. Start with the human, start with the essence of them, even if you find that challenging, and take your judgments away from them. Because at one point or another, and even away from the things that they do, they have interests away from the atrocities of what they're doing, the things that we don't like in them. They do have other interests. What are they? And it just goes back to that story that I've told before in the Unstoppable Actors podcast of when Marlon Brando was training with Stella Adler, and she got them to do an exercise where they had to be chickens, and everybody did the same thing. They went for the obvious. They went for the clucking and running round the classroom, flapping the wings, and Marlon Brando didn't do that. He sat there roosting, and it's making that different choice that more interesting choice that draws your audience in, keeps them engaged in your performance, but also enhances and develops your career because you're not doing the same as everyone else. So if I haven't already driven this point home enough, I'm going to drive it home again. Do not go for the obvious. Find something different in them by looking at their essence and their human qualities away from all that shit that you don't like. It is very important that you are looking after your well-being. Very, very, very important when you're playing these types of characters. So this is where the nuance of the craft is going to come in. Because whilst you are making those crossovers with that character, you're finding that human essence in them where you're like, oh, they're passionate about art, so am I. Or, oh, they've got a thing for hiking up mountains, so have I. I'm making this up, but do you know what I mean? Like, or they love animals, they're really attentive to animals and pets, so am I. And you're starting to find those crossovers. You can start to worry a little bit. So, but you're not a murderer. That's what you've got to always remind yourself of. You're not a murderer. You're not a serial killer. You're not anything of these, whatever these people are. You're an actor. You are an actor and you are doing a job, and your purpose is to tell the story of this character and reveal a part of the human condition that society finds uncomfortable and rightly doesn't agree with. So it is good to remind yourself regularly that you are not their behaviours, so you don't start getting lost and you start blurring the lines of reality. And this is on you to do that. You've got to find ways to decompress after shooting, to look after your own well-being. I'd always recommend 100% of the time doing a step out. Step out as soon as the shoot is finished, as in that day's work, and then after the entire shoot is finished, or if it's stage, like after that day's rehearsal, end with a step out. After every scene, end with a step out to re-ground you. And then when you go back home at night after shooting or after rehearsing or after doing the stage play, go back to something that you love. And that might just be watching one episode of something on Netflix or on Amazon Prime or wherever you watch things. It might be reading a chapter of a book. It might be singing to your child, singing them to sleep, or whatever it is. I don't know. You know what you love. Just go back to yourself to reground yourself. But I do want you to remember one thing, because as an actor, we are showcasing the human condition. And we are getting curious to know what it's like to live in that person's reality and in their shoes. There was a UK MP who sadly got murdered, and she said we have more in common with each other than that which divides us. And it's true, it really is, even those people who've got undesirable traits in them. So this is a good reminder to look after yourself, not just with these kind of characters, but with all characters that you play, even the steady Eddie characters, like I've said, the lollipop ladies and the dinner ladies and the office workers or whoever it is that you're playing, the paramedics. It's a good reminder for you to look after yourself with every single character and also not to go for the obvious. Those are the two big things that I want you to take away from this. And I just want to remind you that inside the Method Actor Circle, this is where I show you how to play characters authentically and safely. So you can be confident and assured in how you're approaching them, in what you're doing. You can get to the truth quicker, and also casting directors can see your talent. So you have an opportunity to showcase to them who you are, what your skill set is and the level is, and they can start opening the doors for you. So that link again is bit.ly/the Method Actor Circle, all in lowercase, or alternatively, just go to the link underneath the episode, click that, and I'll hopefully see you inside the Method Actor Circle and in another episode as well. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.